And I'm joined now in studio by Dr. Mafu Rakometsi, who is the CEO of Umalusi, the exams quality assurer organization. Very good afternoon to you, Doc. Thank you very much. Very busy day it has been for you. Thank you for honoring us with your presence. You've given results a clean bill of health, vouching for their integrity.
Thank you very much, Vuyo. Yes, indeed. Earlier today, we held a media briefing where we are approving the results of the class of 2024, and we're able to indicate areas of weakness in the system. And ultimately, we said overall, the challenges are not systemic. So this attests to the credibility and validity of these results.
What do you mean when you say the challenges are not systemic?
It is when they are isolated in certain areas of the system, in some examination centers, or in some assessment bodies, and it is just pockets, small pockets of challenges that we have observed.
Of course, the Basic Education Minister also insists that the breaches that have now since been identified won't affect the integrity of the results. But the public may see it differently. Don't you agree?
No. They must believe what we are saying. We have gone through rigorous processes since this examination started, and even before. I mean, the papers that have been written according to the Curriculum and Assessment Policy Statement, we can attest to that. The manner in which the examinations were written is according to policy. Umalusi has verified that. And the minor problems that have been identified, there are ways in which they can be dealt with without compromising the system. Where we still need to do some investigations, they'll be done. And the results of learners who have been involved in irregularities have been blocked until such time that we would have received a report after the investigations would have been conducted. And only then we'll be able to say we approve or we finally do not approve. We nullify these results. So that's how it goes.
But let's get to some specifics. You are concerned about the incidents still high copying rates. How is that possible? What facilitates that? Was you going into the examinations, everyone said you were vigilant, you have identified even the hot spots in places like KwaZulu-Natal. So how was it possible still for there to still be this, for us to still have this high copying rates?
Look, the group copying rate has reduced from 900 and something to 400 and something candidates involved. Now, what we are saying is that that reduction has to be celebrated. It shows that we are working towards some progress that can be celebrated fully in future. What happens is that there are people who are dubious in the system that we have to admit. It starts with the learners, where they can cooperate in an examination room and exchange notes without the invigilators being aware. But even in that instance, I question the vigilance of the invigilators, because it's not supposed to happen in an examination setting. That aside, but there are instances where group copying happens with the support and facilitation of the invigilators and chief invigilators. People connive. And what is disappointing is the fact that they are people clothed with authority. They are the people who have been entrusted with huge responsibilities to see that these examinations run well. Now, what we are saying is that the department will be dealing with this. Where previously some centers were problematic, the department put resident invigilators. These are the people who don't work at that institution. They are not teachers on the staff establishment of the institution. They come from outside. They are delegated to the institution for the duration of the exams. They are independent. Those hotspots have been dealt with. But we see here the mushrooming of others that had not been identified previously. So the department has to be vigilant to the point where they'll be able to cover all the bases and close all the gaps in their system. And we have challenged them to say, this problem of group copying has to stop. The learners have to be disciplined, and that includes the barring for them to write for some years. The educators involved have to be put through labor relations disciplinary processes. And when it comes to losing their jobs, they may even lose their jobs. And we challenge them to say, when they lose their jobs, announce so that others will be deterred from following suit. So we are taking these things very seriously.
Have you been able to put a finger on the drivers of this phenomenon? Is it because there are people who are making money out of it? Could it be, or the pressure be coming from schools, educators who want to see good results and have their schools or themselves even earning a reputation of earning high marks or doing better than other schools? Have you been able to put a finger on the actual problem?
It cuts both ways. It is the schools who want to improve their results, and it is also people who wanted to make money. It takes two to tango. Because if it were only the schools, they will not get a person to support this. So the chain would be cut. And if it were only the people who are looking for money, who want to make the money, then they would not get their clients, because people will say, no, we want clean examinations as educators. We understand the value of education, where children have to earn their certificates and be able to show some competencies. So it is both parties involved.
Now, you have also, in one instance, we've had to withdraw a private school's registration because it allowed unqualified students to register for the grade 12 exams. How is that even possible?
The possibility is there because the provincial education departments that register these candidates would not know whether they have met the requirements to be in grade 12. Now, with their investigation, and I must commend them for their vigilance, they were able to observe that these learners had not passed grade 11. What did they do? They deregistered the learners to say, you cannot write grade 12 when you have not passed grade 11. In the same way, they said, look, this center cannot be trusted to run our examinations. And that is commendable. The center has been deregistered. Those learners must go and do grade 11 and pass it. And once they would have passed it, they'll go to a center that is accredited and registered to run these examinations. Those are the controls that we are putting in the system to say we cannot allow anything underhanded to happen in our examinations.
There is, of course, cybercrime vulnerability as well. Just how vulnerable is the system to that kind of manipulation, in addition to what we've seen teachers copying and other stuff?
Cybercrime is there. What is important for us is that these challenges will keep on coming. What is important is, do we have systems to deal with them when they arise?
Do you?
Yes. We are not in the state of paralysis. Look at the reports that have been doing rounds over the weekend that some learners have accessed the results. We are saying they have breached protocol because Umalusi only approved the results today. Nobody, no assessment body is allowed to release the results before Umalusi approves. So they have breached protocol. Now what do? We say now, okay, the department is going to investigate and submit a report to us. Based on that and the findings of that report, we are going to map the way forward and say, from now henceforth, this is the protocol. We develop new systems. So we should not be in the state of paralysis that this thing has happened, but we should have creative ways, having fully investigated what has happened, looking at the findings and the recommendations. We apply our minds as Umalusi to say, we give you a directive from now onwards. As we have approved the results last week, issued the letters to say, but they'll only release after we would have done the media briefing today. The results were released earlier. What then are we going to do? Have you looked at the report so that we don't have the recurrence of what has happened?
What were you, going forward, what are you still concerned about? What other vulnerabilities are you worried about or monitoring?
The other areas that we're still worried about will be around those unaccredited centers that are able to write examinations. And it is in the Department of Higher Education and Training system where 128 centers were allowed to write the examinations when they are unaccredited by Umalusi. What happens is a college that wants to run has to register with the department. But before they give them exempt status, they must ensure that they are accredited by Umalusi. If they are not accredited, but they've started the process of accreditation, they can apply for a concession that whilst their accreditation is still in the pipeline, we are applying for a concession that they be allowed to write the examination. In this instance, that did not happen, where a concession could have been given with some conditions, and these results will be clean. But where they proceeded, created exempt centers without conferring with us for concessions, that is problematic for us.
Dr. Rakometsi, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much for your time.
After, of course, Umalusi gave the 2024 matric results a clean bill of health, but as you heard from Dr. Rakometsi, still a lot of concerns, but confident that the system is able to deal with those. I'm now joined